What would you do if you found yourself trapped in a hotel room with something or someone you couldn't escape? It was a normal night, or so I thought, until everything changed. I wasn't alone in that room, and whatever was there with me wasn't human. I've always been a fan of history. Old buildings, especially hotels, carry this weight to them. Stories trapped in the walls, whispers of the past. So when I was booked into the O'Connor Hotel in Charleston, South Carolina, I thought it'd be just another quiet stay. But that place had a history of its own, one that I had no idea would become my nightmare. It's funny, isn't it? How quickly things can go from normal to terrifying, from a simple check-in to hell. It started the moment I stepped inside. The lobby felt wrong. Not creepy in a way you'd expect from a horror movie, but more stale. Like the air had been locked in there for decades. And there was something else. A strange, unshakable feeling that I wasn't the only one in the room. The receptionist, an elderly woman, gave me a forced smile. But her eyes, they didn't meet mine. It's as if she couldn't look at me, like she was hiding something. And that's when she handed me the room key for room 217. I don't know why, but I felt a chill down my spine when I saw that number. But I shook it off. Just my imagination, I told myself. When I opened the door to room 217, I was hit with this wave of cold. It wasn't the temperature. It was something else, something unnatural. I stepped inside, and the first thing I noticed was the mirror. It was huge, with this intricate gold frame, reflecting everything back at me, but distorted. I tried to brush it off. Just an old mirror, probably warped with age. But as I looked at it longer, I swear, it looked like something was moving behind me. Just a shadow flickering at the edge of my vision. I turned around fast. Nothing. Just the room. Empty. Quiet. I told myself it was just the way the light was hitting the glass. But then, I heard it. A soft, almost imperceptible whisper. It was too quiet at first, too faint to make out, but then it grew louder. Let me in. I froze. My heart pounded in my chest. I tried to laugh it off, thinking it was just the wind, or maybe some noise from the hotel settling. But the whispers kept coming, over and over again. Let me in. And then, the knocking. 3 slow, deliberate knocks on the door. I walked toward it, my heart thudding in my ears, and reached for the handle. But before I could open it, the knocking stopped, like someone had been standing right on the other side, waiting for me to answer. I opened it. Nothing. I was terrified. But I didn't want to seem paranoid, so I closed the door and locked it. I tried to distract myself by reading through the room's old guest book, but then I saw it. A new entry, written in scrawled handwriting I didn't recognize. It was dated for that very day. Room 217, where she waits. I heard her voice. She won't leave. No one can make her leave. That's when I realized. I wasn't the first to experience this. Whatever haunted this room, it had been here for a long time. I tried to call the front desk, but the line was dead. Not a single dial tone. That's when I heard the unmistakable sound of footsteps outside my door. Heavy, slow, deliberate. I didn't move. I couldn't. I was paralyzed. But when the footsteps stopped right outside my door, I had to know. Who was there? I crept to the peephole and saw nothing. Just the empty, silent hallway. But when I pulled my eye away from the peephole, I swear to God, I saw her reflection in the mirror. She was standing there in the room with me. She wasn't there physically, not in the way you'd expect. but I could see her, in the mirror, standing right behind me. Her eyes dark, no whites, just black, endless pits of darkness. And she was smiling. Not just a smile, but a grin. A twisted, knowing grin. I spun around, heart racing, but nothing, no one. I looked back at the mirror, and she was still there, watching me, smiling. I could feel her presence now, a cold, oppressive force that seemed to fill the room. It was like she was waiting for me to acknowledge her, to invite her in. Then the room shifted. The air turned thick. Objects, my suitcase, the lamp, moved on their own, sliding across the floor. I could hear her whispering again, louder. "Let me in." I stumbled backward, my breath short, gasping for air. My skin prickled. The mirror reflected her moving toward me, her arms stretching out as if reaching through the glass. I couldn't take it. I couldn't breathe. I had to get out. I grabbed my things, my phone, and sprinted out of the room, not daring to look back. I ran down the hallway, but the footsteps, those slow, deliberate footsteps, followed me, always behind me. I never went back to that room. I demanded to speak with the manager, but when I tried to tell him what had happened, he didn't even blink. He just looked at me with those same eyes, empty, like he'd seen it all before. He handed me the key to another room, but when I asked about room 217, he just said, "That room is always available, for those who don't know any better." I left. I left without looking back. I don't know what happened to the other guests, but I know one thing for sure. Whatever is in that room, it doesn't leave. And I still hear it, the whispers. "Let me in." They follow me, every night, everywhere I go. If you ever find yourself in Charleston, don't stay at the O'Connor Hotel. Because if you do, you might be the next to hear the knock. And I hope, for your sake, you never open the door. You never know who or what is waiting on the other side.